All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Good Old Hockey Podcast. This is episode number 30. We are 30 episodes in already this season. We've done what? Three? We've done 2 weeks the last 2 weeks, but 30 episodes in a season is pretty good. I don't think we've really missed a week at all, which is impressive. Pat ourselves on the back. We've been grinding, but this is the time of the year that we're all excited for, playoff hockey. If you caught our live stream on Wednesday, thank you for tuning in. Now, maybe you're a new fan and watching our podcast in full. So that being said, I'd like to get into your week, but I feel like I've seen you like every day this week. So I don't know what there is much to fill up on, unless you have any crazy stories or any, shitty things that happened.
No, man. I think just my beer league 3v3 schedule came out today, so I'm excited for that. And then man, just been working, grinding, a couple different jobs and this obviously. So anything new with you?
Yeah, not really. Watching a lot of hockey. Tuesday I went to the Shed in Boise, which hands down best wings in the Treasure Valley. Oh, I'm watching the Panthers game and missed 1-0 Florida right now. But I went to the Shed on Tuesday to watch some of the games during the day. And I've been saying this for years, but the Shed has the best wings in the Treasure Valley. Outside of you're not going to count like Buffalo Wild Wings or Wingstop. I'm talking like restaurant. Well, what's yours?
Firehouse Grill in Meridian. And I'm telling you this right now. Okay. If you go there, you will be blown away. Because I was. I agree. Shed's wings are good, but Firehouse Pub and Grill takes the cake by far.
Takes the cake? Okay.
Like some of the best wings I've ever had in my life. So,
okay. Yeah, I've never been there, but okay, I'll try.
Humongous fan of it. Yeah, we should go there and do a wing review.
Wing review, dude. I'd be so down. Yeah. Fucking. Oh, Tampa just scored 1-1. Who scored that?
Let's go.
Hagel. All right, well, let's get into these playoff games. Actually, before we get into that, there is some NHL news just in terms of, around the coast to coast, across the league. Utah just had their introduction to, I guess, the fans, you could say. But I was shocked at how many people were at the Delta. I am shocked, but I'm not. We kind of called it. We said it'd be a good hockey market. But that place was pretty packed for, a state that is supposedly not going to be a good market.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like there's going to be really good success in Salt Lake City. I think there's a little bit of speculation because people aren't too familiar with Salt Lake City area and Utah and just the history of winter sports. I think a lot of people forget that the 2002 Winter Olympics were held there, and it was one of the best Winter Olympics of all time. But not only that, the skiing scene there is excellent. The one professional sports team they do have there, the Jazz, has a really good fan base. So I think that's going to easily carry over to the NHL. And it blows me away that there's 20,000 plus season ticket deposits already.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were chirping us saying Salt Lake City is not a good place, but I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to work out there just perfectly. And it seemed to me that their owner's very devoted to the team, which I think is cool. But I think the whole city is going to get behind them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the players looked like they were happy and excited to play there, which, I'd heard some stuff that they weren't too thrilled to be out there, but I think those fans changed their mind a bit. It's easy on the outside just say like, oh, I don't want to play in Salt Lake, but you see all those people cheering for you as you get onto they oh God, this is going to be so mean. I'm sorry, but that is the most fans that they've ever played in front of, like home fans they've ever been in front of in so long.
Yeah. 100%.
They've never had that many fans in an arena before.
Yeah, and I think they were stoked, and I think the ownership and the arena, Delta Center, did a really good job with that introduction. I think it was kind of interesting and somewhat funny to me that, one, they don't have a team name yet, but also just like how hard they showed out for this one little event.
Yeah.
With they installed ice and boards and everything. And I don't know if anyone's actually skating on it or if it's just all for show. I think it's just all for show.
It was for show. Just that they could do it. Or it was like a practice. I don't know.
It's kind of funny, but Yeah, I'm very curious what they're going to pick for their team name, and I really hope they don't go with the Utah Hockey Club. That's just going to
Yeah.
be it. I mean, as much as I'm stoked for them to have a franchise in hockey to be this close to us here in Boise, um, I it's going to be weird if they go with the Utah Hockey Club or Utah Hockey Team, like
Yeah.
one another Washington Redskins, Washington football team
Yeah.
um,
I
scenario.
think I think it's going to happen at least for the first season from what I've seen. I think that the owner doesn't want to rush picking a team name or a nickname that's, not going to stick. But I mean, I have heard he's going to do a bracket, which I think we should do on our Instagram on the
Yeah,
stories, is throw like a little bracket together of our own with these names and see what wins out of our fans. Um, I think that could be cool just with, you know, seeing how that would play out. But I mean, a lot of the names they've trademarked a bunch of them. What is it? The Utah Mammoth, Utah Ice, Utah Yetis, Utah Venom, Utah Fury, Utah Blizzard, not Utah Furry. That would be funny though. Utah Outlaws and Utah Hockey Club. I mean, out of all those, I'm still gonna go with the Yetis.
yeah. I think Utah Yetis is pretty good. I like the Outlaws. I've always been a fan of that, but Salt Lake City and Utah in general is not too much of a. I don't think
Yeah,
of Outlaws necessarily,
no.
but
If it was
I do think
Houston,
it's a good name. Yeah, Houston would be a great one
Outlaws,
for
yeah,
Outlaws. So
that could be
um,
cool. I don't
yeah,
see Utah fitting that. I feel like I don't know the Blizzard. I know people like that one, but I
yeah.
just feel like that'd be weird. I don't know the Avalanche. Like, and it's not exactly the same, but it could be a cool rivalry. I guess the Blizzard versus the Avalanche. These like snow teams fighting off, but um, I don't know. I think overall, closing thoughts on Utah. I mean, like we said, I think it's going to be people are going to be surprised at the turnout there and the fans there. As coming from Arizona where they couldn't even fill out a college arena to now selling over 20,000 deposits for season tickets, which again is more than their freaking mullet arena. Like they already have more deposits than they had seats at their old arena. So it just had to happen. And we'll see. I hope the Coyotes come back. And, like you've said, I hope it's under new ownership. I think the fans got done real dirty. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business. And they can't keep losing money because they were pretty struggling. The
Yeah,
Coyotes were.
couldn't even pay their hotel bills. So,
Yeah, like come on.
but yeah, something else that caught my eye too. Just I guess this is the last piece of
Yeah.
non-playoff news was I did see that Amazon got the NHL rights for
Mm-hmm.
Monday night games in Canada, which I think that's very interesting because I feel like Amazon's got the rights for Thursday night football, and I
Yep.
think that went really well this past
Mm-hmm.
season. Besides, I don't have Amazon Prime, so I had to illegally stream that. But
Allegedly.
yeah, man, yeah, allegedly, but yeah, man, I'm just curious if this is like the beginning of Amazon getting into the NHL. I think it would be a pretty cool aspect of it, and I think it would kind of light a fire under ESPN's ass,
Yeah.
especially because they've been lacking on some certain elements, which we've highlighted in the
Yeah.
past. So I
Yep.
think that would be
Even
kind of
last night,
cool.
yeah.
And I mean, obviously TNT is there too to do that, but I think Amazon's just a humongous giant because Disney owns ESPN,
Yep.
and Disney and Amazon, those are two humongous companies. So
Mm-hmm.
um, that's a little bit of a rivalry if Amazon does want to get into that space of the NHL. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job with
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football with the analytics and
Mm-hmm.
just how they broadcast it to people. So I think that this is the beginning of Amazon with the NHL, though.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting to have it on there. I mean, Monday night, it's not a bad play. I just feel like Monday night's such a football night. And I mean, yeah, football ends right when hockey starts ramping up for playoffs, but we'll see. I mean, I think any sort of exposure with those bigger broadcasts is always a good thing. It is kind of frustrating when you have to have like 3 different subscriptions just to watch freaking hockey.
I
You've
know. I
got
miss the NHL.TV days, dude.
yeah, like just keep it under one. I don't know, like I get the whole, money thing, but even ESPN Plus blows major cock. I'm sorry, but as an Idahoan, I hate it that we get blacked out for these fucking games that like aren't our market. And there's no way we can get these cable for. I mean, I guess maybe you could get Seattle's cable, but
I
I'm
know
pretty sure
it is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like why is Idaho and Montana getting blocked out? And I hope it doesn't happen with the Yeti or whatever Utah team it is. But I hope Utah were able to actually watch the games this year and not get blacked out, because like NHL is going to miss out on a pretty big market that they could grow just in the surrounding area. It's not just Salt Lake City. Everyone around there is going to enjoy it. So
yeah, 100%.
We shall see. Only the future note, or I don't even know what that saying is. We're going to move on. Playoff talk. Boston and Toronto. Obviously, last night, as we're recording this will come out Saturday. So we're kind of behind on you guys, but we just saw Swayman in net versus the Leafs. We'll see what happens next, the next game. I hope they stick with him. It seemed like it worked out well for them. William Nylander also missing, which saw some reports, I think per what Elliot Friedman had said, that it was migraine issues that he had.
Yeah, and it was concussion related, I guess.
Yeah,
this is kind of interesting though, because I feel like I saw a lower body related injury report for him earlier this week. But yeah, I hope Boston goes back to Ullmark and then they lose. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be ideal for what our argument has been.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe they'll stick with Swayman. Because we got torn apart when we said keep Swayman or start one goalie.
Yeah. I know. I was like, yeah. Anyways, I didn't want to get into that, but yes, Boston fans, you guys are annoying. Sorry to say it, but so are Leafs fans. But geez, like you guys were, and it's pretty divided. I've heard some people say they want to, keep Swayman in net, but then people on those comments are still also attacking, and they're like, no, it worked in the regular season. But you know what? Go ahead, try it, see if it works. If it works, I'll bite my thumb. But you guys got to win the series first for me to actually bite my tongue.
Yeah, and I think the series is going to go pretty far.
Yeah,
I think Toronto needs to win Game 4, so we'll see if they do that. I mean, when this comes out, we'll see if they have won Game 4. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's such a crucial game for them. You don't want to go back down 3-1 with 3 games left in the series.
Boston too.
Oh. Yeah, no kidding. 2 games would be in Boston. So I think the series is going to go pretty long. I can see it going to 6 or 7 though.
I can too. I mean, realistically, I don't think Toronto was out of that game at all. It was down to the wire. It's a close game. Any of these like series that have these close games, like it's so tough to say that, oh, it's going to be finished in 5. Like I automatically assume it's finishing in 7 if it's this close.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brad Marchand, however you say it, I feel like I always butcher that name, but yeah, that trip was pretty blatant. It was kind of behind the play, which was the thing about it. I mean, he's a pest. I think he owns the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, Sheldon Keefe, after the game, was in an interview, and it looked like he was on the brink of tears talking about Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
So I think he's got Toronto's number, and they're going to have to figure out some way to shut him down, because he had 2 goals last night. He was getting under their skin, and he's going to continue doing that all series if they let him. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the Maple Leafs kind of handle that for the rest of the series. Bertuzzi is going to probably have to step up, which he's been doing an all right job body checking Swayman at media timeouts and whatnot. But I feel like they still had a chance last night, and I forgot which defenseman went back for Toronto and got that puck when there's an empty net, but he totally did not realize that Marchand was right there, and you don't want to go 1v1 with Marchand. I mean, he's gonna burn you most of the time. So.
Yeah. I think Marchand, obviously, great pest. Like he's doing it perfect, as he should. And yeah, I mean, I think I could if he gets in your head, like it's game over. Like that's not what you want. Jim Montgomery, head coach of the Bruins, he had said that Swayman, he was like, if they're doing that, like when Max Domi hit Swayman in the TV timeout, they're like, if they're doing that to him, he's obviously in their head that Swayman's frustrating the Leafs. So I think Boston as a whole, went 4-0 against them during the regular season. So it's gonna, piss them off a bit coming into playoffs and, where every win is crucial. So we'll see how that series shakes out by the time this comes out. Boston could be up 3-1 or the series is tied. So we won't know. But we'll get back to it next episode. But the next one, Isles, Carolina, and Rangers and Caps, we're going to kind of combine these two because I feel like they're pretty similar series. Obviously, Carolina had that huge comeback that I don't think we talked about, or it was after we recorded last episode. But crazy comeback. Islanders were down 3-0, and Carolina just comes creeping back, which 3-0, you don't want to lose that lead, especially late in the game. But 3 goals, and I mean, I think it does show how like the faults the Islanders have in a sense. And Carolina's a good team, and I think next series is going to be really good if it's Carolinas and Rangers, assuming everything stays the same. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about those two series?
Yeah, I think Carolina and the New York Rangers should advance pretty easily. So, I mean, not spend too much time. It was pretty impressive that Carolina did have adversity and they came back from that 3-0 deficit. But, I mean, that just shows that there's holes in the Islanders. I don't think they're the most put together, strong team right now in the playoffs. So, just for Carolina to do that, that kind of shows the faults in the Islanders systems. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think Rangers and Canes, they should move on. I think those games or that series closes out 5-4 games. So
I agree. Yeah, I'll give one to them. Maybe we'll even see if that even happens. But next one, this is a close series, Florida and Tampa. I know Florida is up 2-0 on the Lightning, but a lot of those games are very, very close. And at the end of the day, I think it comes down to Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
He has stood on his head. He had that crazy, that's a probably top 100 highlight going to be of the decade, I would say, the 2020s. Just alone, throughout the next 10 years, we're going to see that save.
It's crazy.
It was insane. He's turning around. So, but I said it in the preview, Florida needs Bobrovsky to show up for them because I don't think that Florida is bad defensively, but they're playing against a good team. The Lightning are a good team.
Yeah.
No matter what place they're in, whatever, they're a good team. And, they need a solid goaltender. And the Lightning need the same thing. And it's not that Vasilevsky's been bad, but Bobrovsky's just been better. And ultimately in the playoffs, that's all it takes. Truly.
Yeah. And I mean, playing against that dangerous of an offense, especially with Kucherov, Stamkos, Braden Point, Hedman, and then you got Vasilevsky backing it up. They're going to have to bring everything to the series. And, these two teams play each other a lot in the playoffs. So they know how each other's teams are like, their atmospheres, everything. So I think this is going to continue to be a close series. I can see Tampa Bay, if they take this game 3 tonight, which I do have money line on. Come on, Tampa. I think that Tampa's in a pretty good spot to tie it back up. Both the past 2 games have been 1-goal games. So, for them to tie it back up, that would be huge. And they would carry a lot of momentum going back to Florida. So I think that's kind of the ideal situation for this series for Tampa. But yeah, man, I mean, Bobrovsky has been so good. So they're going to have to figure out some way to get past him.
Yeah.
Because he's been shutting down one of the highest scoring offenses in the league. And historically in the past few seasons, pretty damn well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, especially games 3 and 4. Those are crucial games for Tampa, being down 0-2. So But they got to win tonight. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah. So another person that is like a standout player for Florida right now, or at least helping them, is Carter Verhaeghe, especially over the even last year too. It's game 2. They go to overtime and he scores. He's got a career 5 overtime goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is tied for 3rd in NHL history. Maurice Richard and Joe Sakic are the only ones above him. Good company to be around. I think he's also tied with Patrick Kane. But I mean, if you're Tampa and you see Carter Verhaeghe on the ice in overtime, like you got to bury him. Like something like he was nasty last playoffs, and Kachuk's up there too in terms of like clutch goals like that. But I mean, Carter Verhaeghe with that overtime goal is special. And I'm thinking about last year too, and Florida and Hurricanes, that series. The Panthers swept the Hurricanes in the 3rd round, but honestly, that series was so close in overtime and 1-goal games where, that's just what it shows, where you need that extra, you need those final goals, those clutch moments to keep pushing you forward, because that's what you need in the tight games like that. And we'll see if Tampa has it.
Yeah, Verhaeghe's been so clutch, especially when it comes to playoff times. I think he was I want to say he was drafted by Toronto, so that's one that slipped away from Toronto for them. But he's been stellar for Florida. He's been a staple there, and I think he's going to continue to show success, and especially this playoffs. So
yeah, I agree. But enough about that. We'll get on to this series, Vegas versus Dallas. We watched the live stream last night. In case you missed it, it was fun. We thought maybe a little bit more fireworks were going to happen, but still a close game, low scoring, but they now have a 2-0 lead going back to Vegas. And they're the only team to have a 2-0, like they're the only away team to have a 2-0 lead going back home. Some splits here and there, some 2-0 leads for the home team, but man, being Dallas, the number 1 seed in the West, and you get handed to you this Vegas team that, is just circumventing everything. It's the way it goes, but I don't even know, like, what do you think the Stars' problem is that they can't get this done?
I think the Stars issue, I don't even think it's really, I think they're having trouble scoring. I think that's where we could start. At least Stars issues. I feel like they're not getting a lot from players they were getting a lot from in the regular season offensively.
Yeah.
They kind of remind me of like the Calgary Flames when they had Kachuk, Gaudreau, and they would come into the playoffs and they would go non-existent.
Yep.
And there's a lot of other teams like that. I mean, obviously I know because Flames fan, but
yeah.
I think the biggest thing is Vegas has so much depth. I mean,
they do.
4 lines, their defense is the best on paper in the league by far. I mean, and you've seen players that are additions, or have just joined the team from LTIR that are making instant impacts. Hannafin's making impacts. Mark Stone's making impacts. Hurdle could be making a little bit more impact. But, all those players are showing out. And I think that's kind of the problem for Dallas is like, it's kind of just an ongoing wave of good players coming at them.
Oh, Stamkos just scored.
I think that's going to have to be something where they do get over that hump. I think it's pretty crazy that Eichel, too, a stat I saw today, is the fastest U.S. player to get to 30 points in the playoffs. He did it in 24 games, which that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting to see, like, back when he got traded from Buffalo, a lot of people were saying Jack Eichel's like a bust. Like he's not going to show out to what his true potential is with Vegas, but he definitely is. And he's showing that he belongs in Vegas. And I think he's going to continue to thrive there probably for the rest of his career, I'd say. So that's pretty cool. But all in all, this series is giving me deja vu, man. Vegas last year, it's pretty incredible what they did. I'm feeling a vibe that Vegas could have a deep run, especially if they knock off Dallas in 5 or even 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy. If they sweep Dallas, which is still potential,
It
I
is,
mean,
yeah.
going back to Vegas,
Yeah.
2 games up, they could sweep Dallas, especially how
Mhm.
they've been playing.
Yep.
That would be I think the whole league would shit their pants.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
straight up,
would.
I think that's scary. And if they
Yeah.
beat Dallas that handily, like who's the team to beat them? Winnipeg, Colorado, Edmonton? I mean,
See,
I don't think Edmonton could. I think Winnipeg
no.
and Colorado could one of those 2 teams could give Vegas a pretty good run, but I mean, time
See,
will tell, man.
I don't know that maybe Colorado. I don't know that Winnipeg can. I mean, unless Connor Hellebuyck steps up his game, he hasn't been playing bad. Colorado's offense is very high powered, and I think Vegas's defense is a little bit better than Winnipeg's defense. So I feel like if the Avalanche played the Knights, I don't know. I mean, Vegas's offense, while Vegas is deep, they're well rounded deep, offense and defense. And if you put the Avalanche in that spot where they have to play against the Knights in a 7-game series, I would put money on the Knights. Not to say anything bad about Colorado or that they're a bad team, but I think Vegas is just deeper. And if this Dallas team is struggling, I don't know if those 2 teams can do it. And even whoever comes from the Pacific side, I don't think any of those guys are going to do it. I mean, I don't think Edmonton's going to do it. Kings aren't going to do it.
I mean, the Canucks probably not either. I mean, yeah, it's kind of scary looking in the West. They
Yeah.
look like the team to beat, even though they're the second wild card spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be really difficult for any of these teams in the West to knock off the defending champs because they have a star-studded roster. They're playing good. Their goalies are playing good. They have an excellent defense. I mean, I know Logan Thompson isn't the most flashy name in the NHL, but when you have one of the best defense cores, it's still going to be difficult to even get past them. So,
yeah, the Stars really have not. That was one thing I was going to say. The Stars have not had a lot of offensive opportunities. Like last night when we were watching it, I had money on the Stars, but I was never like. There was a couple moments, where they had some good offensive firepower, but for the most part, it was a lot of shutdown. Even in the last minute or so, it's just I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. I mean, I don't have much else to say. I think Vegas is going to go pretty deep this year unless the Stars can just turn it on for game 3. So we'll see how that goes. And I want to say the next game is when this comes out on Saturday, if that is correct. I think it is. But
yeah.
The next one kind of jumped in there with Winnipeg and Colorado. Colorado game 2, great bounce back. They were they didn't look bad game 1. I mean, obviously it was 7-6, so high scoring game. But Colorado got it done. That's again what you need. Split the series, take it back to Colorado, and do some more work. Losing that momentum would suck for Colorado, but I don't know. How do you? What's like what's going to stop Colorado from keep going forward?
I think Winnipeg. I think Hellebuyck obviously has to play good, but I think Winnipeg needs to start scoring a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think they need to capitalize on Gorgiev's faults.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's obviously had those throughout the season. He had those in game 1, as we all saw, 13-goal game. I think they're going to have to capitalize on those issues that Colorado kind of has with their goalie, which is easier said than done because he played pretty good in game 2. I mean, .933 save percentage. 28 saves. He definitely redeemed himself from that first game. So game 3 is huge for Winnipeg. You really don't want to go down 2-1 with a game 4 in Colorado. So I think I can see Winnipeg at least splitting the next 2 games in Colorado. Yeah. And then I think this series is going to go to 7. I'm calling it right now. I think this is going to be really back and forth.
Back and forth, yep.
But really still hoping for Winnipeg. I think Winnipeg just has a star-studded roster, and I got Winnipeg in my bracket though to win it all. So come on,
I got Colorado. Winnipeg. I don't know. My main thing of who I want this series to win. I love my bracket, but at the end of the day, I don't want the Knights to advance. So I want the team that I see that can beat the Knights in the second round, assuming they go ahead. Also, Lightning had just scored again, so now it is 2-1 Lightning against the Panthers.
Isn't it 3-1?
They called that other goal off. I forgot to say that.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I couldn't see it, but this goal looks like Bob was screened, couldn't see it. Yeah, but Lightning's looking pretty powerful. Obviously, they're at home, so we already talked about that though. But yeah, I think this game's going to go 7 games. We'll see. I think it's going to be, honestly, bet the over on every game until it fails. That could be next game. I could be, down some more money. But next one, which is another bet the over, is Vancouver and Nashville. Losing Demko is, Vancouver, they worked so hard this season, got the number 1 seed, and they're playing Nashville. Nashville's a good team. They've been hot, like we said. They're hot going to the playoffs. It's a hard team to play against. But losing your goalie, who's been not lights out, but who's been pretty solid for you and a big part of the reason where you're at. Like, how long has he gone for?
I mean, I've seen reports that he might be out till conference finals if they make it that far. So that's a huge blow for Vancouver. And I think they're kind of in panic mode right now because going back to Nashville, series tied 1-1 without your starting goaltender, and especially playing in a place like Smashville, that atmosphere is hard to play in as a goalie. You're stepping right into this series. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how it goes, but I could see Nashville swinging this 3-1 series going back to Vancouver, but we will see. I think this is some adversity that Vancouver needs if they want a deep run. But man, Casey DeSmith is going to have to step up for them. I mean, this is his time to shine. This is his time to show that, he's a viable option for the Vancouver Canucks, but, somewhat of a starting goaltender in the NHL. So,
we saw it last year with Aiden Hill. Who was it? Logan Brossoit that went down last year for the Knights in like the second round, I want to say. Don't quote me, chat. You can comment, correct me if I'm wrong. But, Aiden Hill came in late into the playoffs and turned it on and was their saving grace for the Knights to advance. But, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough for him. And, I ideally would like to see Nashville go on. I like the Predators as a team. I don't really care for the Canucks too much, but as a fan of the game, I'd like to see Vancouver at least, overcome some adversity like this. And, it's kind of cool to have these stories of these goalies that, were riding the bench all season. And then, what a save by Bobrovsky. Oh my God. But yeah. Next one though, do you have any last thoughts about?
No,
Nashville?
man, I think Nashville is going to take the momentum in this. I think they have such a good playoff atmosphere at home, and it's going to be really hard for the Canucks to take that momentum away from what they already have going over back home. So
was Nashville in the playoffs last year?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think they were. I think they barely missed it.
Yeah, that means, their fans are going to be excited to have some playoff hockey back. Yeah, they've had deep runs in the recent years that have got those fans probably pretty excited. And, if they can take game 3 at home, coming into game 4, that place is going to be loud because they know they're going to have momentum and try to get them that 3-1 series lead. But Edmonton and LA Kings last night, huge game for them. They needed to split that series. It's not that they look bad. I honestly don't know that Edmonton looks that good though either. Like, I don't know. Their goaltending has just always been a problem.
Yeah.
And
I don't think the Kings goaltending is anything special. No. I mean, I feel like the under is not going to hit ever in this series.
Yeah.
I think I think the Oilers goaltending is just not that good. I'm not saying the Kings offense is anything special, but both of these teams are just going to continue to score. We've seen that in the past 2 games, but yeah, it's a huge overtime win for the Kings. They also have the momentum going back home. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how LA responds, because I feel like everyone kind of slotted the Oilers to win the series. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think honestly that we'll see how this series pans out. Maybe it was a bad game for Edmonton. I kind of thought Edmonton was gonna kind of breeze by, and they did kind of come back last night. I want to say 2-goal lead they came back on, and
Yeah.
I mean losing in overtime, it just happens like that. And we'll see how they can do it in LA. I just don't think LA has a strong enough team to go past round 2.
Yeah.
Like they could get past the Oilers maybe. Oilers aren't super strong of a team outside of their 2, 3, 4 stars that they have. Outside of that, it's really not that deep. And I don't think LA really has. I think it's not that they're mid. I don't want to say that, but it's like maybe I will say it. It's kind of mid. It's nothing special that they have. They have a great Anze Kopitar, but he's up there in age. Goaltending's not awesome. They've got some good younger players, but nothing that is going to propel them forward in the playoffs, I don't think. But who knows? Maybe they could be in the Cup final. Could happen. I don't even know. It's playoff hockey.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if the Kings still win this. I feel like the
Yeah.
Oilers got to dig deep and figure out a way to beat the Kings, because things are going to look really not good in Edmonton if they can't move past the Kings, especially this type of Kings team with Cam Talbot in that. And Cam Talbot, I hate to say it, he's probably the better goalie in this series, so it could definitely happen. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this pans out, especially how they do in LA. So
yeah, no, for sure. Well, let's look at the NHL games this weekend. Let's see here. All right. So tomorrow we've got the Rangers and Capitals. Rangers are up 2-0. They're in Washington. I think the Rangers are going to take that. We also have Canucks and Predators tomorrow, along with Jets, Avalanche, and Oilers and Kings. So we've got a good slate for Friday, good Friday night games. That Canucks Predator game in Nashville, I think, will be cool. Avalanche and Jets will be cool too. Oilers and Kings, we'll see what happens there. And then Saturday, we've got a pretty big slate. We've got Islanders, Hurricanes, Panthers, Lightning, Bruins, Leafs, Stars, Knights. And then Sunday, we got Jets, Avs, Canucks, Preds, Rangers, Caps, Oilers, Kings. So that will be game by the time we come back for probably record on Monday. Most of the game 4s will be done except for Stars and Knights. So we'll have a good look at the series when we do come back next episode.
Curious if there's going to be any sweeps.
Yeah, we'll see. I think out of anyone, my money's on the Rangers. They've looked pretty lights out. And then next week we're probably going to switch up doing the 2 episodes, or at least how we do the recording. We'll still stick the early week recording, and then after that we might do some lives instead of stuff like this. So we'll be talking live about it, maybe reacting to a game, or just on like a Saturday morning, just talking hockey about, what's to come. But just in terms of scheduling, we want to get hot, fresh news to you guys, the listeners. We don't want to be talking about old stuff. So we'll try to keep it as fresh as we can and get that content out to you guys. But that being said, go follow us on Instagram at Good Old Hockey Podcast if you're not already. Panthers just scored again. It's 2-2 now. Sam Reinhart. Oh, I don't know. Kachuk scored the first one. Now Reinhart. These
come on, Lightning
are out to shine. But we're gonna go watch the rest of this game. Also, I'm gonna go hop on the live with the football fellas and see what's going on with them. And be sure to like and subscribe.
Hell yeah. No, thank you for everyone watching. This has been a great playoff so far. Let's appreciate all the nice comments you guys have said, or the bad comments too. It's engagement. I like people voicing their opinion. But really excited to bring you guys another episode next week and live streams ahead. So cheers. Yeah. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yep. Have a great weekend. Watch some hockey, drink some beer. Have a nice day. That's all I got to say.